Well, hello everybody. This is Rachna, and I'm here once again with yet another story for you, which is actually an extract from the great novel, The Great Expectations. And this extract is Pip Overcomes His Fears. Children, it's written by a very famous and renowned author by the name of Charles Dickens. Now, children, Charles Dickens, his full name is actually Charles John Huffam Dickens, and he was an English writer and a social critic. Though there is a lot to speak about this author, and the more you speak, the less it is. But as per your age, your class, I not go into great details about him. I just give you an overview about this author. He created some of the world's best known fictional characters and is regarded by many as the greatest novelist of the Victorian era. And children, his critics too loved this person. His works enjoyed unprecedented popularity during his lifetime, and by the 20th century, critics and scholars had recognized him as a literary genius. Now, he was born on 7th February 1812 at Landport, Portsmouth, in United Kingdom, and he died on 9th June 1870 at Gad's Hill Place, again in United Kingdom. Now, children, one might wonder that what made him such a literary genius, that he was given such popularity, and even post his death, people still went ahead and completed and published his works. So what made him so great? uh, Children, it was actually right from his childhood, the things that he faced, his father going into jail, and he having to do various kind of jobs. Now, amongst the few of his jobs that he did, the most notable ones, because of which he became the person that he was, is that he was, at a very young age, let's say at the age of 15 years, he took up a job of an office boy in the company of lawyers, because of which he became very good at shorthand writing, and he got to know a lot about the law courts and so on and so forth. And then there was this, his acting was one of his hobbies, and he would get into theaters and all, and he realized that he could actually write for them. Okay, now his writing actually started when he became a reporter in the press gallery of the House of Commons. Right now, some of his works, I've only mentioned a few of them here, though I'd tell you quite a few of them, is Pickwick Papers, Oliver Twist. Pickwick Papers was published in 1837, Oliver Twist in 1839, Nicholas Nickleby in 1839, The Old Curiosity Shop. He started in 1840 and finished it in 1841. Then Barnby Rudge from 1840 to 1841, Martin Chuzzlewit, Dombey and Son, David Copperfield, Bleak House, Hard Times, Little Dorrit, A Tale of Two Cities, Great Expectations, Our Mutual Friend. And now this was published posthumously, Edwin Drood. Okay, so this is few things about his books, his novels. Now, even his plays, like I said, A Tale of Two Cities. Okay, but not to forget No Thoroughfare, uh, the Frozen Deep, A Christmas Carol, right? These are his plays. Okay. Now, as I said, that this is an extract from the novel Great Expectations. Now, children, let's understand a little about Great Expectations, before we venture into the extract. See, Dickens begins the novel boldly, right? A sad little orphan is confronted in a cemetery by an escaped convict. Now, so already on page 2, we hear Pip cry and says, "Don't cut my throat." So you see that it was very, very, uh, you know, uh, at a very early stage in this novel, we hear a small child crying and saying that, "Don't cut my throat." All right. So you see, now there are not very long paragraphs of this exposition of setting of characters and developments, as which we find in most of the other writers and novels. So you see, what happens is that the main character is a young orphan by the name of Philip Pirrip. But because Philip Pirrip is not able to actually pronounce his name as a small child, so he gets himself called as Pip for short, and that's what he becomes very famous as, Pip, right? So he wrote his novel on monthly installments. I'm not sure that many of you would be aware of this, but this novel was written in monthly installments. And how he wrote it in monthly installments was because he was writing it for his own magazine called as All the Year Round. And what he did was that while writing it in monthly installments, he just wanted to capture an audience for himself, and which he really did. And in that era also, he did capture a lot of audience. And from there, we get this novel rolling, The Great Expectations. All right. Now, what we find in this novel is that there are two characters, Pip and Joey. Joey happens to be the the husband of his sister, right? Even though we do get to know that Pip, his father, mother, and his other brothers, they had all expired and they were buried in the crematory, and because they had all expired and they were buried in the crematory, Philip, as a small child, had to be brought up with his sister and his brother-in-law. Now, his sister had a very flying temper, she would get upset over anything and everything, because of which, Pip, he and his brother-in-law Joey, they get to have a very good bonding with each other. So throughout the novel, you get to realize that even when this little boy, he becomes a big man, and he's left this place and gone to another city, yet his brother-in-law goes and visits him, right? And even when he goes away, he still has a very good rapport with his brother-in-law. So now, what really happens? That throughout the novel, we get to know that Pip and Joey, they're the ones who actually go and in the beginning of this novel, when Pip, he discovers that there's a convict, yeah, at the crematory, and the convicts, there are actually two convicts, right? So when one of the convicts, he asks him to get him a file and everything. So which he readily does. But later, when this very same convict is caught and sent back to the Hulk, Hulk is basically the prison, right? When they are sent back, it's Joey who goes with him, right? So let's go ahead and know a little about this extract which is taken from a wonderful novel, The Great Expectations. And children, trust me, you must go through this novel. And I sincerely hope that you actually, go through this. So, what do we have here? We have uh, this house that you see is where actually, I have put up this thing for you people just so that you you're given an idea as to what were his fears. It was, of course, the fact that his father and mother and his siblings, they had all expired. But this house had to do a lot with his fears. And the reason why this had to do a lot with his fears was simply because, uh, children, this was the house of one lady. And when he had to go to this house off and on, his fears, they, you know, they were there, but yet in a way he tried to get over with them, with his fears, right? So what happens? Let's begin. Pip was an orphan, as I said earlier, and his real name was Philip Perrett. He lived with his sister, Mrs. Joe Gargery, who was the wife of the village blacksmith and whose name was Joey. So they lived along the river near the sea in a marshy country. Philip's parents and five little brothers were buried in a nearby graveyard, right? So this little boy, he often used to visit the graveyard. On Christmas Eve, when we say Christmas Eve, Eve means a night before a particular happening day, like we generally call as an eve for Christmas. So on a Christmas Eve, Philip was much surprised when he saw a fearful man with an iron circle around his leg near the graves. That man was very hungry and in much pain. He asked Pip to bring some food and a file, or he would cut off his throat and liver. Well, it was Christmas Eve, so there was enough food in the house, and everyone was busy with Christmas preparations. So Pip, he entered the pantry early in the morning and stole some bread, cheese, meat, and some brandy, etc. He also took a file from Joe's fork, and then he ran to the marshals, because what earlier what this convict had done was that he had actually held him upside down, and he had this would actually make all the things which were there inside his pocket fall down, and he didn't really find anything. So he asked him that if he could bring him some food and all. So what happened was that he actually goes and he gets things for him. But at the same time, meanwhile, when Pip was up and around trying to get things for him, they all get to know that there are two convicts who had escaped from the ship, right? And the ship was actually called as the Hulk. Okay, so they had escaped, and here Pip had actually come across just one convict. So he goes and he gets everything for him. He gets a file for him, he gets food for him, whatever he could lay his hands on. He went and he bought it for this convict, right? And Actually, he had to steal all this. So he had a lot of on his mind that he has had to steal food, and he has had to steal Joy's file. So now, what happens is that as Pip reached the marshes, he found another convict in the same dress as well, and he also sees him with the same kind of leg, the same kind of iron on his leg. So Pip was much frightened, and he went to the same place to find out that the first convict, he was there, and he swallowed and drank all the food and everything. And Pip, he asked him that he would like to give, part with some of the food and give it to the other convict as well. But this convict, he just refuses. And well, he pointed out to the place where the other convict was hidden, and he ran towards his home. And it is when, while he was running home, he hears that this convict is busy trying to, get away with that iron which was there on his leg. And well, he just runs away from there, and he feels very uneasy. The entire dinner, they had some people, over there with him, and the people, they were all making merry and all. And that's when there was a knock which comes on the door, and because he was a blacksmith, his brother-in-law was a blacksmith, the surgeons, they were there, and they asked him to come out. Now Pip feels a little frightened, and he's like, uh, what is it that's going on over there? So the surgeons, they tell him that they are here only to get the handcuffs repaired. So this thing Joy readily does for them. He repairs the handcuffs for these people, and now uh, the the surgeons, they had come to know that the two convicts, they are there in the marshes and near the cemetery. So what happens is that they go in search for these convicts along with Mr. Wopsle, who is a very kind churchman, and Pip. They find, when they reach there, they find that the two convicts are fighting in a ditch. So Pip's convict said, like when he sees him, he sees Pip, and Pip, he's like, trying to tell him through an action that it was not him who had actually, uh, given him away to the surgeons. And this thing, the convict, he actually understands, and he tells them that it was not actually, somebody who brought him the file and the food, etc., but he had actually gone and stolen food and the file from the blacksmiths. Okay, now the two of them, they are taken back to the ship. So, children, this is actually where your story comes to an end in this particular, chapter of yours. But actually, let me just help you finish this off a little. That when the surgeons, they take him away, they take the two convicts away, and the one of the convict, he tells the surgeons that I just want to say that I had actually stolen all this from the blacksmiths. So at this, Pip is very much relieved, because now he knows that he's not actually having to speak a lie anymore, or he's going to have to live with that guilt all his life. He does decide to tell Joey about all this, but he really doesn't tell him anything. And that night, on Christmas Eve, he just goes off to sleep with a slightly lighter heart, right? So children, trust me, this novel is worth finishing. You must go through it, read it, enjoy it. For now, thank you very much for being so good at listening to this video. Have a wonderful day ahead. Bye bye.